In your prime, were you better than Karim Benzema?
Given what Karim Benzema has achieved in his career, it would be very difficult for me to sit here and go, I'm better than Karim Benzema.
Should we do a quick fire round, Matt?
Go for it, whatever you want.
We've got maybe 7 or 8 questions. We like the answers to be 30 seconds. Of course, you can go longer if you want, but it's also a little bit of a sign to you that we're nearly at the end.
No problem.
Matt, what's the craziest thing you saw in football as a player or a pundit?
The craziest thing I saw in football was probably Eric Cantona kung fu kicking a supporter. That was pretty wild.
And what did you think?
I can't tell you what I really thought. Because I probably had those thoughts on some occasions when I was getting abused by someone in the crowd.
Yeah.
I just never acted on them.
Matt, what pays more, football or punditry?
Football pays more in terms of my enjoyment that I've got out of it.
What's the best lesson you ever got from another footballer?
Jimmy Case, as a seasoned ex-pro and me being a very young lad at Southampton who thought he was great, he taught me very early on, don't hold on to the ball too long when you're playing shadow play against an experienced professional footballer, because we played this game where we had loads of men attacking against only like 5 or 6 defenders, so it was like 11 against 6. So of course we had a lot of ball, a lot of time on the ball, and but it should have been played at match pace. But I thought, I've got loads of time here, I'm just going to mess about, do a little. And Jimmy Case, who was one of the defenders, decided that after I'd laid the ball off, he was just going to smash the shit out of me. And he just went, do it properly, do it at match pace, don't take the piss. And so from then on, I played match pace and I didn't take the piss out of him.
Matt, who's the most underrated player ever in your opinion?
Cool, that's a question. Underrated player ever. Am I allowed to include myself in this?
You can include whoever you want.
Yeah, I'm going to go for me. I was underrated.
Love it. This leads nicely onto this question, which is Harry's, by the way. Matt, in your prime, were you better than Karim Benzema?
Well, I mean, we were very different players. I mean, Karim Benzema is an outstanding centre forward. I was never a centre forward, so we played in different parts of the field. Given what Karim Benzema has achieved in his career, it would be very difficult for me to sit here and go, I'm better than Karim Benzema.
Sorry, Harry, you didn't get what you wanted there. Harry said if you can get one thing, please have Matt say he's better than Karim Benzema.
I would say you are. It's very difficult to compare players that play in different positions in a football. You know, it's very subjective.
Who's the best player you ever played against?
The best player I ever played against, I always say there was 2 players who stood out for me. Thierry Henry was one of them, who I thought, you know, in his pomp, he sometimes looked like he was an adult playing in kids' football. He was that good. So he would be right up there. And in 1992, I had we as Southampton had a pre-season tour of Italy, and we played Juventus, and I got to play against Roberto Baggio, who for me was just like, he was my kind of player. He was somebody that I looked to and went, wow. The position that he played in was kind of, you know, very similar to the positions I played in. He didn't have a massive amount of pace, which, you know, I have a lot of respect for players who can be that good and not be very quick, because obviously pace is a huge asset to have in football. You have to be extremely talented to not have any pace and have the influence that Roberto Baggio had on his football teams.
What was your lowest moment as a football player?
Day I retired.
Wow. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it wasn't the day I retired, it was the day I decided to retire. So I was only 33. I'd spent most of that season kind of fighting to get fit from calf injuries. And in about the March of that season, it was the first season we were at St Mary's, at the new stadium. I was playing in a reserve game on the pitch at St Mary's, and after about 25 minutes, my calf broke down again. It just went, and it was just horrible. And I realised at that point I couldn't do it anymore. My contract was up at the end of the season, and I realised I didn't want to put Southampton in a position of, going, yeah, we're not offering you a new contract. You're old and fat. We're not giving you any more money. And so at that point, when I walked off that pitch, I knew that I would have to retire at the end of the season. I couldn't do what I used to be able to do anymore. And I'm not too ashamed to admit, I walked down the tunnel, I walked into the medical room at St Mary's, and I bawled my eyes out. And that was the worst day of my career, because I knew that it was over and I wasn't going to do it again.
Did you have any plans beyond your career?
Yeah, play golf. I didn't really. I didn't make plans. I'm not really a plan maker. It's quite weird. I should have probably reassessed my ambitions in life, because obviously as a kid I only had two, and I'd done both of them by the time I was 25. So when I got to the end of playing football, I just wanted to enjoy my life, do what I wanted to be able to do. I don't have expensive tastes, as you can tell by the way I'm dressed. I just wanted to be able to have a happy life, really. Play golf when I wanted to. If I wanted to do a bit of work, then I could do a bit of work, and I was able to do that. I didn't earn enough money not to be able to work again for the rest of my life. We weren't in that position back in those days. So I've always had to work, but I wanted to be in a position where I was able to work a bit and have a lot of time to be able to do stuff that I enjoyed as well. And I've been lucky enough in the 20 years since I've been retired that that's been the case. So I've been pretty lucky, really.
What advice would you give to kids wanting to be a professional footballer?
I was asked this question yesterday, actually, and
bollocks.
But it was only a kids' football presentation down in Breedon Sands. But so I gave an answer which I'd never really given before, and I think this is me getting old. Right. So I would say learn from my lesson that I didn't learn. So my advice would be look after your body better than I did, because as a professional sportsman, I had a shit diet. I mean, I didn't really drink alcohol or anything like that, but my diet was shocking. Right, I didn't eat a vegetable till I was like 28. So I still don't eat fruit, and it's just I'm shocking. So, and that's probably one of the reasons why I had to retire at 33. So looking back, I would say look after your body, and if you do, you can go on and play till you're 40 in this day and age with all the sports science that's available. So that would be the one thing. And the other thing that I would say, and this will probably annoy coaches, football coaches, but I would say don't be afraid to show off. If you've got the ability, don't let coaches coach it out of you, because it's those players that are not afraid to make mistakes, not afraid to try something different. They're the ones that make differences in football matches. So don't be afraid to show off, would be my other bit of advice.
This show is called Disruptors. What does the word disruptive mean to you?
What does the word disruptive mean to me? What does disruptive mean? It means somebody that doesn't conform.
Let's breathe that one in.
There you go.
Couple more quick ones, Matt. I know you said you're not really a planner, but I'm fascinated where you're going to take the next phase of your career.
Me too. I have no idea. I don't do planning. I'm obviously I still do after dinner speaking, which I enjoy. I like making people laugh. It's a nice feeling to have, that you can stand up and tell stories about your career, and people enjoy them and they're quite funny. So making people laugh is a good thing. So I'll carry on doing after dinner speaking. I'll continue to work for Mola TV, who've been very, very good to me, very supportive of me over these last couple of years. So I will always be loyal to them for the support that they've shown me. And yeah, so I'm pretty set with how my life is at the moment. Pretty happy with where I am in terms of the work that I've got coming in. So I will just continue on this path, and I'll continue shouting my mouth off and upsetting all the right people like Gary Lineker and Piers Morgan and people like that.
Well, if you get banned on every channel, let's do another episode in a couple of years.
No problem. Yeah, when Getter gets taken over and I can't speak anymore, we'll have another one.
Do you want to just shout out the socials that you're active on so we can all follow your work?
So I am on social media on Getter is @MattLettis7, and the same handle on Twitter, but you'll hear more of me on Getter than you will on Twitter. I've never been on any other, so if you've seen me on any other platform, I've never been on Facebook, never been on Instagram. I don't have any influence over those there. I've only ever done my own Twitter feed and my own Getter feed now.
Well, Matt, I want to thank you 2 times. One time is for doing this and being so open.
My pleasure.
And the second time, as a Liverpool fan, what you did to Man U regularly just given me so much pleasure. We were getting trounced, so I want to thank you for that.
No worries.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, mate.
So if you enjoyed this, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to watch the full Matt Le Tissier unfiltered interview, watch it here.